All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Poetry Den. It is yeah, that deserves a whoop whoop. Let's try that one more time. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Poetry Den. Yeah, much better. There is never a bad time to cheer for poetry. My name is Spencer French. I'm going to be emceeing for you tonight. I know I don't look nearly as cool as the person who typically hosts, the incredible, incomparable Pam Blair, but we are in for a treat because she is the feature poet tonight. And so to give her opportunity to focus on her work, you'll have to deal with this silly mug all afternoon. Hope it's all right. Here is the typical structure, as has been the case. We're gonna have different people who've signed up on the poetry list, and we'll be going through a kind of a open mic kind of feel. Feel free to come up, read 2 or 3 poems, probably not much longer than 5 minutes, but take some time for your art. We're here for that. And then we'll move to the next person. And so everyone can kind of share, and then we'll kind of end with the grand finale of the feature poet who will read for 20 or 30 minutes. And I think also sing. A little. So again, brace yourself. For the people joining us online, welcome as well. It is, in these weird times, it's cool to have all sorts of people coming in, so hide at the camera. If you are zooming in and you want to read, that is also welcome. Just drop a line in the chat, and George over here will, wave his hand real, blatantly, and then we'll hand it over to him as well. All right? So I think I've covered most of it. Again, it is a joy to be with you. If you have just walked in and you want to read and your name's not on the list, again, I'll ask later in the evening, and you can wave your hand really loud, and we'll get that figured out. I think so far that's all we need to say, and so I'm going to begin with one of my own poems. So, all right, thank you. This is a poem I wrote just this week, in fact. So this is the first time I've ever read it in public. One kind of earlier comment before I read. The two things more than anything else that poets write about are love and death. I'll be writing about the latter, not the former here. But one of the things that I've always found fascinating about my favorite love poems are the particularity of them. There's rarely a love poem that I read that's like, love is like flowers in the summer. Like, that doesn't speak to me. But when someone says something really specific about someone they care about, it's moving. This is my attempt. My favorite part. My favorite part was not the passion, elation at a gesture, defeat your elsewhere gaze. Not the performance of romance, cherry wine, candlelight, always some matter of severed flowers. It wasn't convenience, a date on retainer for weddings, an answer for the questions every Thanksgiving. It wasn't even greatest concession, the ecstasy of sex. No, my favorite part was the way you drank water, a big swig, followed by small swallows, each of which swished. It was your superglued glasses, your instinctual fear of spiders, your sheer unforced awe every time you saw a deer. I do not mean to convey disinterested study, nor observation. Even the word appreciation goes awry, for each imply a degree of distance, and you were always too near to be reduced to an exhibit at an art museum or a muse on some far mountain. No, I'm talking about allergies to cats, peanuts, bananas, and the subsequent learned scrutiny of friends' pets and ingredient labels. This is about box braids, prontos, 4C hair, cocoa butter, and all the other details which I was not and am now aware. This is about the afternoon your skin shone sorrel in the sunset saffron, and yet was a still deeper brown. How? And here I pause to leave unsaid those things I noticed on the rare occasion we shared my bed, which is not to suggest pleasure, though I could, but is rather to mention the cute thing that would sometimes happen before sealing it away for us alone behind the door of this poem. my favorite part was the slow, prolonged noticing. And its reciprocation, like that time you asked me unprompted to offer my thoughts on meter because you had spent a few of your spare hours researching and wanted my opinion. To love a person, and not the idea of a person, is to love idiosyncrasies, is to opt against your dearly held hypotheticals, preferring instead the unsung wonder of stretch marks and sweat smells. Even now, I can think of nothing more beautiful than the scintillating tip of your left front tooth, inordinately white on account of the filling you as a child required after flying smile first over the handlebars of a bike. It is miscolored and so bright. To love is to know, is to come near enough to notice. And, my dear, I have noticed. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We are going to move on through the list. And so as I look through, I see the name Wayne. Is Wayne here? And would Wayne like to read? All right. Give it up for Wayne.
I'm Wayne Goodling. I live about 2 blocks down the street. And I have recently added my philosophy of life to my life. It's one sentence. The first part is a fact, the second part is an opinion. There are 7.5 billion of us, and we are all connected. The poem. The poem's entitled Pandemic Amnesia. Pandemic amnesia. 2 eggs, bacon, toast, weak coffee with refills, Sunday morning with friends. Conversation and memories, but not this week, or last week, or the week before. 2 eggs, bacon, toast, pandemically prepared in isolation, while calculating what I'm not spending today. Not spending the $14 it would have cost for breakfast, including the tip. Not spending time with friends, saving at least 2 hours, including travel time. My well-prepared meal took 31 minutes, including washing dishes and clean up. And instead of mediocre restaurant coffee, my own brew, strong and smooth, including brunch conversation with myself. Do I miss brunch with friends? I don't know, because I can't remember. I can't remember what it feels like to converse face to face. Pandemic efficiency and emotional amnesia, along with a 31-minute breakfast, have replaced friendship's contentment. And next Sunday, I'll save another $14. And if I may do a second poem, this one was written in 2017. Lazarus. When Jesus learns a certain man is sick, he does not go, but waits for 2 more days and tells his friends, our Lazarus is dead. But yet I say God's glory you shall see. Commands he them to take away the stone. They give reply, our Lazarus doth stink. Ignoring nature's law, he thunders out, now, Lazarus, come forth. And it was so. E'en so today, I come to him and wait, bound hand and foot with filthy rags of sin, at his command, come forth and show to all how thou art cleansed. I tremble and complain. Oh no, they must not see my dirt and dross. Says he, you have the glory of my cross. Thank you.
All right, can we give another round of applause for Wayne? Thank you. Thank you. All right, next I'm going to welcome up, it looks like it's Ariane. Am I pronouncing that right? Ariane? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
It's Ariane.
Ariane, brats.
I'm expecting, I'm like down below.
Yeah, it's fine. We mix it up. We keep things, we keep some surprises up in here, so
Okay.
go right ahead.
I wasn't ready for that. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to hear what's gonna happen later. Okay, so my name is Ariane. I really love poetry. I love performing. I lived in India and got to really live that life a little bit. And this is a poem I wrote in those days when I was really confident about myself and my art and what I'm doing. And I've been going through some stuff where some of that confidence needs like building back up a little bit. So I'm really reading this for myself too. So hope you guys enjoy it. Me and you? Oh, we will, ma'am, for sure. A queen in her pearls sat across an open window, her eyes full. On her head, a simple crown, its weight and shine taken directly from her twist-knuckled labor. Her skin is nourished, sated, a quiet bloom. Her head is full of mystic chants, rhythmic bass, drum pounding, hollow instruments, innocent choirs telling her of the sun's rising. Her mouth is ripe and tart, notes of crisp tea, green leaves, spices, and tree bark, heated water and cider, a fragrant rose. Her queendom is small, but it will grow. The landscape afforded to her gaze is a bare square of empty branches and naked light bulbs, but it'll grow. Her riches are few, but she has her pearls, and these too will grow. She has accepted that she is that queen. She now wears her pride luxuriantly. She is one who has fought bloody, torn nail beds and broken teeth, raw knees and disjointed shoulders, throat strings pulled tight, she has the scars to show. A queen in her pearls sat across an open window, her eyes full. She declared she would gift herself. She would give to herself, she would grow for herself. She has already bled enough. A queen in her pearls sat across an open window, her eyes full, on my head a simple crown. Its weight and shine taken directly from my twist-knuckled labor. I made it myself. With hands I have written miles of love, sometimes long roads leading away from me. Part of me wants to think that those journeys were a waste of time, that I was unnecessarily lost and thirsty. But the honest magic of it all is that I did not become a queen today. I was born a queen. And there's nothing that a queen could ever do that would ever constitute as a waste. I wasn't lost, I was building. And today I sit with my pearls across from my window, my eyes full. Thank you guys.
Yes, queen.
Thank you.
That's great. Can we give another round of applause for Ariane? Thank you, Ariane. Appreciate it. All right, so as I, doing the kind of randomizer in my brain, the next name is Cam Stilson. Also happens to be my roommate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cam. I have a couple poems for you. First one is very short. It is called Alone in a Bookstore. I desperately thirst for more, denying my discontent, but feeling it nonetheless. I scan these shelves subconsciously, fervently praying that some collection of letters, words, sentences, paragraphs, pages will catch my eye, revolutionize my perspective, metaphysically endow me with joy. No luck. This next poem is called Unproductive. Thank God I was unproductive today. What a subtle resistance. What a beautifully bold rebellion. I just sat here. Well, I did, and I didn't. My friend walked in to get her coffee. We shot the breeze while she stood by my table, ready at any moment to leave, out of necessity or courtesy, until she cracked the door open that led to her heart. I couldn't help but accept what seemed like a half-intentional invitation to know her, really. She sat down then. I asked her questions, and her answers were mirrors reflecting the disarray of my own inner home. Didn't intend for this to happen. But here we are, two friends, not yet friends enough to plan this sort of a sit down, but friends enough to let it happen. Friends enough, I suppose, to expose lacks and longings, fears warring with instincts, anxieties with desires. The parallels are striking, comforting. But even when they're not, it's nice just to be here, strategically refusing to get back to work. I was supposed to be reading, I really was. But this particular coffee shop is becoming notorious for not allowing me to do so. For not allowing me to participate in this particular obligation, the one I say I am coming here to fulfill. Yet I keep coming back. I wonder why.
All right, can we give another round of applause? All right, so quick couple announcements. We are going to take a turn and do some online readings, if that's all right. And I'm going to talk a little bit while we get that ready. Would Lisa be cool going first? And then Ralph, and then Dan? All right, so I'm gonna let you figure that out. And in the meantime, we've had a lot of people join us. I was reading, welcome, it's a pleasure to have you. If you want to read, there is tons of room for that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hand around, if you just like flag me after I step away, and I will hand out this sheet so I can make sure everyone has a chance to share some wonderful poetry. Sound all right? All right. George, do you want to do online right away, or do you want to have a person go first and we can prepare that for the next one?
I'll have somebody go now and then we'll.
All right. So, Jessica Cunningham, would you like to read? All right, it's all yours.
Hi. I'm a first timer. It's nice to see you guys. I've always had a bit of a blessing and a curse of a brain. I tend to look at things from a bird's eye view and just recount what I see. The first one I'll start with, it's a little bit more rhymey than we've done. It is what it is. What is this way we treat our food as though it's not required to nourish, heal, and strengthen us until our time's expired? What is this nerve dysregulator we sip to speed up, a short-term focus at the cost of muscle in a cup? What is this rolled up thief of breath that we use to suppress, but for a bullet to the lungs and chemo for our stress? What is this liquid that we drink to drown our saddened mind, a masochistic weapon drawn to leave our faith behind? What is this costly capsule we're assured will help us heal, by taught and bought conveyors who view sickness as a steal? What is this lab-made substance that we use to shrink our weakness, but for facade of grandeur, leaving brain and heart with bleakness? What is this numbing needle that we use to kill our pain, but for a disconnection from our instincts as we drain? What is this plant we burn up so that we might learn to fly? Provided sacred medicine that only hoists so high. What is this needless face paint that we buy to cover truth, but for a way to mask what is, or flee to shades of youth? What is this garb we're wearing to feel different or the same, but coverage made of earth and toil for status in a game? What is this rock that we don to contract us with a lover, but for a taste for trend forged through enslavement of another? What is this yearning to use and abuse autonomy? A drive to have control of something in you, not in me. What is this voice that's telling us to hoard what we don't need, but sneaky salesmen selling lies and profiting from greed? What is this paper construct that we chase till bodies weaken, but for exchange of goods that we could share as loving beacon? What is this temperamental screen that we use to distract, but for a harmful glow that hinders mind from staying intact? What is this mode of information seeking to divide us? The smoke and mirrors rerouting us from seeking what's inside us? What is this written errant doctrine that we use to war, but for a guide given as gift to move us to learn more? What is this pride that keeps us acting out then caving in, but for a faulty step stool we climb to ascend our kin? What is this leech of life upheld by billions hunched to bear it, but for a calling to stand up and strip it from its merit? What is this fear that steals our joy, then guises theft as norm? A desperate snake in winter sucking from us to keep warm. What is this wound that moves us to repress those we could teach? A stark reminder, heal us first, to lift those within reach. What is this chaos that we seek when we just need refilling, but insight that a simple change will rebirth all those willing? What is this present moment, but a chance to start anew? We came with everything we need. It's all inside of you. One more? Do you want one more?
The poem done, or was it keep going?
It was done.
Oh, good, okay.
It was done.
Okay.
It was done. I can do one more.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll do a fast one. Sorry, I'm so excited and so nervous all at the same time. I'm shaking in my pants. Okay. In a moment of womanly weakness, I'll call it, I wrote this one. It's called Luna, Ode to the Divine Feminine. Oh, timely goddess, is this truly a curse? Is this blessing, ancestral karma, worse? I was only ever warned, promised to be pained, to be disregarded and left stained. We've been told that we should be ashamed. We lose our sense of divinity as preordained. Hell hath no fury like woman scorned and taken for the love she once contained for everyone who called her name. See, I sat with Eve and I ate the fruit, and I conjured Lilith and her truth. So misunderstood, but delusionment is glorious gift, one heaven sent. Her woes are nothing that I've seen. I'm blessed to listen to her dream, though fallen, still hopeful to redeem and to come clean. I've bared life and I've lost it too. I've chosen most that I've been through. Though tides have ebbed and took my youth, stolen my voice and left me mute, I deconstruct, then I reboot. Such disconnect that took my feet and dropped me naked in the street, left me abandoned with conceit by those who came just for receipt. Found Adam's grievance carried on, as rib once given, now is gone, becoming weak what once was strong, confusing love with siren song. His divine nurture stripped from him and offered passage into sin, and he took it. But he would again, for women are creators of men. Some will seek, some go astray, some vie to strip night from the day and break us down and tie us down and shut us up and run away. We shall not fray. We're here to stay, come what may. Bearers of fruit, gardens of loving respite, we gently guide day into night and fill the moon with divine light. Let us call on Gaia for insight to help us set things right. Oh Gaia, I'm ever more aware how much my heart and roots need care, but do I have the strength to spare? What must I change to see repair? What can I grow if I surrender? What must I learn? What will I remember? And though this fruit is mine to share, please Gaia, tell me when and where. I will be on time. I will be there. She answers us. She always does. No silent treatment, unconditional love, birthed from service with every attention to detail, with comprehension of every exhale and why it's given, so that we may not suffocate, but rest and labor and recreate. I see the tides now returning flow as I walk paths only mothers know to pave, just for my feet to go and watch my inner goddess grow. And Luna, sweet, loving, infinite Luna, dancing on waves and diving through the deepest of waters, we remain your keepers and your most grateful daughters. Give us strength, please. Give us ease. Light our paths in the darkness. Lift us from our knees so that even in the wildest or stormiest of seas, we may be equipped to facilitate peace.
All right. Another round of applause for Jessica. Thank you. All right. So friends, we have a wonderful problem on our hands, which is we want to make sure we stay, with it on time. We've had so many people join us, so many gifted poets. We're kind of pressed for time. So what we're going to do is we're going to hand off to the people reading online. We're going to ask that keep it to 1 or 2 poems, so that everyone gets to share before we have our feature. And so we can keep this energy going because this has been great so far. So George, I'm going to hand it off to you. Is that good?
Lisa and Ralph.
Lisa, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to read my poem now. This is based on getting into genealogy and learning about my family. I took one line way back to the 1800s, but the other all the way back to the 1400s. And I had a family tree that had like 1,500 people on it when I was done. Okay, here's the start of it. Where is my tribe? You have a heart of red, she told me. You are a true Native American. I wanted to be, you see. I was dreaming of my real family, the aunties with dreams and spirituality behind their eyes, music in their souls, who loved art and connected with the cosmos. Instead, I was stuck in their house of those without inner dialogue, where all songs were silenced long ago. No culture, no heritage, no Irish blood even in my veins, as I was led to believe. One parent falling through the ice as a child, but rescued by a human chain, bringing me here to this place by chance. According to ancestry, real grandfather was a womanizer, sowing multiple children and cousins and his wild oats from Florida to New Jersey. One of those great aunts escaping her orphanage became a real estate Mongol. Grandmother was busy getting fellow neighbors committed to the 2 full 1950s psych ward to get billing in her bridge club and having an affair and a baby out of wedlock. She would hold a citywide party for his 7th birthday after he dried out from his journey under the ice, ensuring his golden child status. He would grow up to tell his children his family were multimillionaires and owned a racetrack, but his own father, who looked nothing like him, and he never seemed to suspect was a janitor at a munitions plant. One great uncle I never met was a mechanic in South Bend, Indiana, long dead. His children's ties were too fragile for any meeting. He came from the line of the 450-pound Hungarian former army captain who ruined my body with his bad legs and bad DNA. So many children, so many greats lost in the crowd with the branches being whittled. There were bootleggers and mobsters importing booze under prohibition and breaking into houses, and union heads of textile workers arranging strikes and fighting the scabs, and way too many farmers and factory workers, but at least two had black marble gravestones over 25 feet high. One great grandfather who had a gilded golden angel on top and a photograph of himself framed within the marble from the branch of the family I never met. He stared out for eternity. Fat Hungarians and strict Germans all dissolving into the melting pot from tenements and wooden two-story houses and two small towns, both families populated for 150 years before the 1960s came along and took away extended families and left us alone in suburban cages with even fewer to be connected to. Oddly, pieces of my face seem to appear here and there, but never my personality. The only other artist is a second cousin who painted teacups and made tidy quilts. One old, distant 96-year-old cousin kept driving his car the wrong way down the street without a license, earning himself a 4-page spread in the newspaper. They put him in jail. That's the only one I have.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Can we give another round of applause for Lisa? All right. Thank you.
Hey, Lisa and Ralph are a pair. So
Oh, all right. So Ralph is next then. We're gonna turn the oh, here we are. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time.
Well, I'm
for
the
Ralph.
other half of the pair here, so,
All right. Go ahead.
okay. So I've got two, so think two sides of a 45, I guess. So this is the A side. Financially dissatisfied, philosophically trying, true story, names were omitted to prevent the guilty from tracking me down and doing things like, dragging me to court. I'm stuck at the doctor's office waiting on the wife. The conversation goes something like this. From 150 something or other to another. I went by the dollar store, but they're closed Wednesday and Thursday. They don't have enough workers, just one cashier and one stocker. Her friend arches an eyebrow. Well, why would you work when the government just pays you to stay home? I tune out the rest of the resulting white noise. Those who need it, blah, blah, blah. A job is a job, blah, blah, blah. Truly needy, blah, blah, blah. Those who can, blah, blah, blah. Pull yourself up, blah, blah, blah. And so on and so forth. Wash, rinse, repeat, etc. Obviously, I tell myself nobody's ever seen my returns and knows how I really do at the box office. Not these two at any rate, but I don't wade in. I know better than that. It wouldn't do any good. You can't argue with a mind that's already made up, right? My wife and I check out, but I've got one last request, if I could. One last request rattling around my head. The powers that be, you missed your slaves. I get that. The naughty masses with too much time and money on their hands, you missed your stuff. I get that too. But remember, the hamsters don't feel like getting back on this particular wheel. So, word to the unwise, you may have exiled me to the cheap seats, the margins of the bleachers, but guess what? I have eyes to see and ears to hear, and I take damn good notes.
All right. All right. So.
Okay, here's the B side.
Oh, there's okay. B side. Go ahead.
Yep, here's the B side. This was inspired by a visual site I could not get out of my mind, I think 2 weeks after this COVID-19 thing started. And so this is the first time I've addressed it. I've tried to make sure we don't fall into the usual rut, the cliche, this, that, and the other. Think back to 9/11, a lot of bad music came out of that. Every recording studio, I think, should have been locked and borrowed from the inside, but there you go. So this is the ghosts of Devo howl for justice over my friendly neighborhood checkout counter. Okay, so you really want to know, you still need a rundown. What is this thing called de-evolution? What's it look and feel and sound like? Start at the supermarket self-serve oasis they've just installed, waiting for the day their part-time army of baggers and cashiers outlives its usefulness. I'm stranded in line behind a guy who's bought the full 9, as in face shield, rubber gloves, knee-high boots, shiny yellow hazmat suit. For a split second, I allow myself to dream out loud. The boys from Akron are back out, reunited on tour, telling us to whip it good like never before. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, and so on. It's game on as the clock strikes 13, only a couple of weeks into this whirlpool we call COVID-19. I mean, growing up in the 70s, we had plenty of menace pondering about in the air too. Everything from killer bees and the greenhouse effect, as they called it back then, to muggers in the streets and the national debt, Legionnaire's disease and swine flu too. Fast forward to adulthood and the panic button is staying well pushed, I'm afraid. You can't even trust the air you breathe anymore because who knows where your neighbor's been. And if we really looked after our brother, would we really need to dream up schemes like minting $1 trillion coin? Sorry, Mr. Logan, there's only so much that you can outrun. Well, we did our best. We did our best to give the past a slip, like the song says, da-da-na-na-na, da-na-na, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da, etc. But now it's back to bite us again. What comes around goes around twice as hard. Well, cue the $1 million question. Are we not men, bum bum, or part of somebody's far-fetched plan? What did we learn? Before I can answer, my hazmat suited fellow traveler checks out and leaves me behind. I shrug my shoulders and I vow to give myself some time. Yes, I'll answer that question next time. The tired part of me knows differently and says, never mind.
All right, another round of applause for the poetry and the singing for Rob. Thank you. All right, and are we gonna, Dan cool to go next? One thing I will say, again, we have people coming in like crazy and we wanna make sure we respect time. So it really grieves me to say, but if we can keep it to one poem, if it's a bit long, keep it to one poem. If it's really short, 2. We want to make sure we're able to have enough time for everyone to stay focused. I want to make sure people get home at a decent hour, So, all right, are we good to go to Dan, or do you want to do someone here first?
Do someone here real quick?
Yeah, sure. So Ted, all right.
Thank you. I'm Ted Wedekamp, and I'm an outsider from Kokomo. So if you approve, Wayne should get the credit. If you disapprove, blame him. Being accepted in figuring out life is somewhat of a challenge. So the first one, I'll get right to. You cannot control what people do or say. Learn to accept what is, then go your own way. As much as you might wish things to change, some aspects of life you cannot rearrange. Acceptance is not yielding to the unwanted, but recognition your choices will not be flaunted. By being true to yourself, you declare, for me, I'll decide what is fair. Accept what is and deflect the unwanted away. Then you remain above the events that take you astray. Accept who you are and the value you hold. That's not being brash, but honest and bold. By learning you are not in control of every act, you now have the power to master how you react. Acceptance of what is does not mean you lost. Rather, now you set the price of what you cost. Okay. The second is about the porch light. Lights have been part of our society, whether it's a candle in the window or the porch light, that have communicated to children and families a message about welcoming. And when I was a kid, way back when, porch light went on, time to come in. Or when I was parked with my girlfriend in front of a house, Dad would flash the light 3 times, and that meant come in or else. You know what I meant. Okay. Yes. So this is even today. This is about when the porch light went out. Even today, I still recall the loss I felt. New Year's Eve, the night Grandpa passed. It was a heartbreaking blow I was dealt. That night, the porch light too burned its last. The day the house was built, it first lit. For 6 decades, marking days of his life, the same bulb for 60 years never quit. Faithful friend in both good times and strife. A symbol for which the family was known, a beacon for travelers, family friend, and for us, a message, welcome home. We were safe again at our journey's end. Children, grandchildren played under its glow, burning every night from dusk till dawn. Dressed in summer bugs and winter snow, lighting our playground on Grandpa's lawn. Decorated with wreaths for Christmas Day, corn stalks around the post at Thanksgiving, placards hung for each on their birthday, signaling all here a lovely family is living. A house now empty, dark forevermore. Only left is now what I hold in memory. The life I love gone, to return nevermore. I'll not soon live again so much a joyful reverie. Tears still well up when I think about that night when the porch light went out.
Oh. We're not done. All right. All right, so I would say another round of applause for Ted, but you said if it went well, who do we give credit to? Right, okay, so, all right, so yeah, there we go, well done. All right, George, are we ready is Dan ready? All right, so we're gonna hand it off to Dan.
Thank you. Come on, video. There we go. Hey, how you doing? So one, I'm really bummed that I'm not there tonight because this is definitely some of the best poetry I've heard in a long time. Poetry event is always great, but it's like everybody brought out their best words to honor Pam Blair tonight and her featured speaking. So way to go. So good, so good. I'm gonna give a little plug. Here is the card, which you will find to the left as you exit out of the room. I publish Panoply Story and Art Michiana. We publish poets, short story writers, and artists. And I'd be also delighted if anybody reading tonight would pick this up, and maybe you might consider submitting some poetry to us so we can publish it. We have about 2,000 readers. And with that, this is a poem I wrote for a friend who went to see her mother who's very sick. How blessed are we called to the care of the ones we love. Love the path by which camels are mystically transported through the needle of an eye. How heavy the wealth of transgression, now scales tilted by the weight of selfish pursuits. An ounce of your love golden tips the arms, more than adequate payment in the kingdom to come. Thank you.
Another round of applause or snaps or whatever for Dan, whatever you're feeling. All right, thank you, Dan. All right, next, I want to ask I have a really high-tech kind of sorting technique going on. It took years of training to figure this out, so let me just go through it real quick. Would Kai like to come forward and read? All right, good up to Kai.
Hi. I'm honestly pretty nervous. I've never done something like this before. Thank you. So to give you some background about this poem, I was raised as a missionary kid in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. So I grew up heavily involved in the church. And this poem is sort of about the deconstruction you go through, being very involved in the church, and realizing that you are a queer person, and trying to figure out your relationship to God and the world and yourself. And I don't really have a title for this poem. One of the working titles is What I Am, and another one is Sorry, Mom and Dad. So, yeah. I am fractured in the stained glass sense, in the sense that crystallized color could be a medium for lists of gratuitous sins, and I'm a ship. In the sense that I'm traveling somewhere very far and unknown, and in the sense of Theseus and the infamous question, in the sense that my state of being exists in a paradox to my origin. And I am the fruit of the tree of good and evil. In the sense that apologetic is not listed among the fruits of the spirit, and the seeds that I sprouted from fell very far from the tree. I am made of Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I would let that knowledge of ambrosia drip down my chin, that I would finally find a reflection of myself in her lips, that I would die between her hips and rise again on the third day, arms stretched wide, already ready to be crucified. But I'm sorry, that's backwards. The resurrection is supposed to come after the death sentence, but the pulpit says I am a reversion of nature. So I play from end to beginning, which is why I am left here hanging, gripping exposition and ending, alpha and omega. Have you forsaken me? Thank you.
I'm so glad, even in the midst of nerves, you decided to share that. That was excellent. Can we give another round of applause for Kai? Thank you. All right. Pat, would you like to share?
All of us have lost people at some point in time, and this is for my aunts, a number of whom have passed away. And it's called Autumn. She sits fragile like a dried leaf, crushed by autumn winds, head nodding rhythmically to almost forgotten tunes, lifelines etched deeply, tracing ancient paths of smiles and tears, eyes haunted with fading memories, hands resting on a battered black book. Filled with dying dreams, she sits fragile like a dried leaf crushed by autumn winds.
One more round of applause. Thanks, Pat. All right, we are winding down. We have 3 or 4 more. Roger. Roger.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you for having this. Can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This poem is for a woman named Mara Fox. She was a student at St. Mary's. She was killed by a drunken driver in 1993. The car contained several Notre Dame law students filled with empty bottles of wine and beer. They drove home. They didn't stop. They drove back to their apartment. When the police came, they said they thought they hit a dog, and no one was ever prosecuted. So this is for Mara Fox, 1973 to 1993. It's called All Souls Night. Don't go out tonight, girl. Witches ride and goblins roam. A ghoul mops blood from pavement and wipes a wine-colored smile across his mouth. No one sees behind the mask on a dark night in a foggy land. Pumpkin smashed against the glass, jack-o'-lantern dark and gone. Trick or treat, smell the sheets. Ride home fast, home and hide. The dead don't speak on a foggy night in a foggy land. Is there a body that no one sees? Is there a scream that no one hears? Here is the silence where her laughter was. Here is the silence today and tomorrow, this week and the week after, silence next year and the next and the next. Swab the deck with money, grease the streets with lies, but never trust your breath when blood runs into sand. Tires squeal on asphalt, but friends don't squeal on friends on a dark night in a foggy land. So don't go out tonight, girl. Nightmares rule the night and darkness fills the day. Lawyers make the laws and lawyers must be paid. In this dark town, fog rules the night and laughter can't be found. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Roger. Wow. Wow.
There's a cross in her memory on the corner of State Road 23 and Douglas.
Okay.
Simply wooden cross, Mara Fox.
Perfect. All right. Jolanda, am I saying that right? All right.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jolanda, and I'm from Elkhart, Indiana. Okay, yeah. Okay, my poem today is The Breakthrough. It's basically, your testimony. You're going through something, you can be like, a given testimony for someone else, So it's called The Breakthrough. It is, tell me your struggle you claim. Let's begin with the battles and your name. Is it anxiety or fear? Take your hands off the wheel. He will take over, you hear. What about depression? Do you have a confession? I'm listening. Trust me, you're not alone. I know you have cried and it's painful and you have tried. Life was created for you with a purpose indeed. Now where's that attitude like a roaring lion? That's the fire we need. Stop allowing humanity to say you're not enough. I'm sure they have a story to tell. Pay attention. Life for them may be rough. You have what it takes. Now tell the world to pump their brakes. Your breakthrough is coming, I claim. You have already told me your name. I'm still here. Are you worrying about your wealth? No more worries. You're strong. and courageous, you can battle anything with a strong mental health. Day by day, you will get stronger. I know sometimes you're like, how much longer? I claim you're on the right path to mental health fame. Now, do you feel the same? I know the struggle feels like a fire full of flames, but in the end, my friend, you're going to beat the enemy's game. Everything that he stole, now take it back, that's the goal. Your breakthrough is coming, now stop running, stay focused and positive, and you will get the job, open the door, smile on your face, you're one of a kind that can't be replaced. Your breakthrough has come, now pat yourself on the back. See, you are under attack. Now give some praise. Well, are you amazed? Are you relieved? Aren't you glad that you didn't give up and you believed? Allowing your faith to increase, a change to your way of thinking. Breathe, exhale, created happiness and inner peace.
Thanks, Shalonda. Can we have another round? Thank you. It's a distinct pleasure that you came all the way from Elkhart to read. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, so Lisa, you wanted to read? Listen, look, see, we don't believe in coercion here, but if everyone just started clapping for you and I didn't do that, like, I'm not.
Peace and love, everybody. So this was actually a 4-page poem, but I condensed it down because every time I would try to read the 4-page poem, I would start crying. So I just condensed it into something short for my own self. And this poem came about because I'm a community activist, and I really consider myself a revolutionary. And I've always been a very strong person, and my community knows that. And they always come to me for like advice and help and things. Well, not recently this year, but 2 years ago, I went through an extremely abusive relationship. And I was always a domestic violence advocate. But the person who I was extremely abused by is a well-known, respected public figure. And I had to be one of those women who had to suffer in silence because I knew me speaking up, my own community would lash out against me. And until this day, I know for a fact that they would because of that person's position. So thank you. So I continue to suffer in silence. I probably will until the day I die. But I wrote this poem to kind of cheer myself up. It's called Come Back to Me. And it's 3 people in this poem, but it's 3 people in my head. So y'all gotta listen to the voices of the people. So I'm gonna try to change my voice for y'all. Okay, so come back to me. I can't believe I let that little shit whoop me like that. From now on, I'm all about me. I'm only going to love me with all my heart. But I don't feel my heart. Heart, is that you? Yeah. I'm not with you right now. I'm healing. You allowed me to get stomped, beat up, and shitted on because you wanted to devote yourself to love someone who repeatedly showed you that they hated the fact that you loved them. And now you only want me, and now you only want to love yourself. And I want to love the animals and the trees and the people with all my heart. And you. Love is life, and you trying to be selfish. Well, heart, at least I got my courage. Well, I don't feel my courage. Courage? Is that you? you over there with Heart? Hell yeah! You know me and Heart rolled together. We A1 day one. And I ought to kick your ass for the way you allow Heart to get pulverized the way you did. Shame on you. Get your shit together. Okay. Well, courage. At least I still got my intelligent brain. Hello? Anybody up there? Yes, I'm still here, says Brain. Oh, thank God. Someone has to help you craft yourself back into a wiser, more intelligent, responsible revolutionary. You need to apologize to Heart and humble yourself to Courage, because we need them to fight the good fight. Yeah, I guess you're right. But Courage be talking a lot of shit. I heard that. But we do make a pretty good team. Yes. Now that's Brain talking. That team is what makes you unique. Plus, I'm tired of being in here with you all alone by myself. So what do you say, Heart? I sincerely hope you can accept my apology, Heart. I will be more responsible and responsive to your health and safety. And to your health and safety. Hey, this Heart. You sure about that? I'm sure about that. And we gonna love the animals and trees and the people? I'm sure. I promise. Of course. And our enemies? Don't push it. I'm just playing. I'm coming, Courage. I promise to be humble and noble with my self-respect and diligent with my relationships to protect Heart and all of us. Well, hell, that's all I wanted to hear. Come on, buddy, come on. Right on, right on. It's good to be back on the team. Thank you. Thank y'all for coming back to me. Now, I'm one big happy family.
There's a difference between a poetry reading and a poetry performance. I don't think you understand what it means, though. Excellent, thank you.
just want to point out for everybody here, in case you haven't noticed, we have some really great feedback online, including this is one of the best poems I've heard at the Den, at least that's review. And somebody else, please tell her to turn this into a play and cast as soon as.
All right, so we have one more poet before our feature. Friend Daryl. will come on up.
So I slipped in here at the last minute, and I love you, Pam. I just want you to know that. And everybody that I've heard. So I got one really super short one. It's a haiku. I love haikus, and I write them in the traditional 5/7/5 meter. So this one is just simply, woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Won't you sing along? Thank you.
Excellent. All right, well, friends, it is a distinct pleasure to introduce my friend. Now, don't come up all yet, because I actually have something that I prepared too. So here is the official bio sent from Pam, aka Poetic Melody herself. Pamela Blair is an Elkhart, South Bend native, born artist, poetess, founder of This Here Poetry Den, and a DJ, also singer, mural maker, general creative person. There's other things too, right? There's so many things. Her day job is a program assistant for the Kroc Institute for International Peace Studies at the University of Notre Dame and diversity co-facilitator on racial issues. In Pam's word, Pam says, I write poetry because it helps me briefly express an experience or moment. I take vivid feeling and words and infuse them into creative art, word art, that hopefully makes the listener or the reader think or look closer through my lens. And I've heard her work many a time, and I can attest to the fact that this will happen. The thing that she does not know that I prepared was, I wanted to say a brief moment about our friendship. Pam is my unqualified bestie. It has been a distinct pleasure to write with her, write alongside her. We have performed together. We have done different things, and you guys are in for a real treat. And in my own writing, I have a poem that I wrote for the beginning of a book, and it's meant to introduce the poems that are to come. And I've only ever read it for myself. But as a moment of introduction to another poet's work who I deeply respect, I was wondering if you'd indulge me to read it here. Is that all right? And this, imagine this as an invitation as Pam's works sit before you on an imaginary book. At the onset, if by luck you find these phrases thrumming with something at once unknown and home, if by chance these words become a hymn of heaven or some kind of sacred activism, if by faith or its absolute absence you find your ear nestled into the soft song of ink and paper, hearing the murmurs of something other or not at all, do not stop. Press further, press deeper, eavesdrop. And we're back.
It is actually phenomenal to see you all here this evening. So thank you for coming out for sure. Just a second here. I would like for you all to give a round of applause to Spencer here for, without hesitation, volunteered to be a co-host for this evening. And I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to just be able to enjoy everyone. So again, thank you, Spencer. A shout out to my love, Bianca, who endures all of the poetry that I make her listen to. And she's like, yeah, that's really good, babe. Yeah, it's great. And it's really, I can't even tell you how like humbling it is to be able to do this and to be able to be in this space and, just be with you guys and listen to poems and have a space where we can be together. So again, I got away from being a featured artist here at the Poetry Den because I really do like showcasing other people. And, for the first time or for the 50th time or whatever. And when you're a host, you sometimes have to fill in the gaps, when people are not here. So it's not that I ever don't get a chance to share. I always get a chance to share. But Pat came to me and said, when are you gonna be a featured artist? And the things that she said to me were like, this gives people the opportunity to share your different styles of poetry and how you express it. And it just kind of like, it clicked. I don't know, it was that moment that it clicked and I said, I'd love to do that if it opens up something in someone else and invites them or they feel welcome here. So shout out to everybody that your first time reading with us, being here, love it. So here I am. I'm going to begin with a poem that I was asked to write about the Civil Rights Heritage Center when they were officially inducted as a historical landmark in the city. I love my glasses that like to fog up. The Civil Rights Heritage Center, a historical oracle, hidden within brick and mortar. Stories of justice emerge from the waters. 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Water also exists in the air as vapor. Our skin, organs, and bones consume large amounts of moisture, and water is used in a variety of metaphorical scriptures. Let's abstract the symbolism of water and why Black folk couldn't sip from public drinking fountains. The very significance of water was clear and why it was withheld from the very vibrance of brown skin. Birmingham and the Civil Rights Movement, in a protest, 4 Black youth were sprayed with the water hose as a source of punishment. Underground railroads rescued hundreds. The water that once gave way to enslave conductors used rivers to escape. Think it is not a coincidence that Black churches have a pool in the midst of their sanctuary, not for swimming, but for the soul. Water brings purity. That's that piece. And this piece is, we're gonna have some audience participation. You guys ready for that? Make sure you guys are awake. The reason I call myself Poetic Melody is because I do like to have music sometimes with it. And there was, when I first started, I started doing a lot with music and then just kind of got away from it and trying to get back into it actually. So here we go. So what I need you to do is snap your fingers with me. Now y'all that can keep the beat, okay? This is the history of beatnik poetry. Y'all sound good. Generation of the beatniks. Youth like hippies and barrettes. Black clothing, dark glasses, and turtlenecks. A true rebel kind of movement. In coffee shops, they gather and swarm. Poetry about society making them conform. Some with marijuana they identify. 21st doctors now keeping them high. Others will come and drown their sorrows in wine, listening to the intoxication of rhythm and rhyme. The southern roots of the island, Chicago and New Orleans, many whose memories are chosen. Armstrong, Holiday, Gillespie, and Ellington, Coltrane, Marcellus, not to mention George Benson, a backdrop of rhythm and blues. Piano rapping, mesmerizing my earlobes. Big Daddy, Daddy-O, or Cool Cat. Get with it far out, I'm really digging that. That's jazz, y'all. Poetry, pizzazz. That's that piece. Was that fun? So there's a piece that I normally do. It's called Truth, and it's just like a reflection of why I do what I do. But this piece I wrote way before I wrote Truth, and it's called I Am Creativity. I am creativity molded by clay in the hands of a higher supremacy, shaped and molded, polished and glazed, creator on the bottom engraved. My dreams I struggle to restore. I battle between Victorian or French doors, plush carpet or wooden floors. If I'm not able to create, it's like laying on a cold metal slate. Over my face, the white sheet they drape, except for wait, I am still awake. See, when you're of that breed, masking in words of poetry, examining brushstrokes on a painting, seeing the story behind the photography, it sparks my creativity. 40 hours a week, my mainstream. Sitting at my desk, I for sure daydream. Creativity boiling in my bloodstream. Living in the matrix, the red pill, the blue pill, my mind does backflips. Safety net or risk taker feels like an eclipse. I eat, I swallow, sometimes not thinking about tomorrow. But as I breathe, I'm always thinking about creativity. That's that piece. So I didn't always like poetry, nor do I actually even remember anyone teaching me about African-American poets. Sometimes as a kid, when you don't see people that look like you doing certain things, you may think, well, maybe that's not what Black folks do. And you just think it's only for a certain group of people. Then you find out later that there are people that do look like you that have been doing this thing for centuries. And they're just not highly recognized. So in my quest for trying to highlight an African-American poet for a podcast, at the time, most of the poetry that I was coming across, they were talking about the struggles, the pain, the hurt around being a person of color. And even though I know that there are African-American poets that don't strictly talk about that, these were the things that I was experiencing in my quest. And it inspired me to write this piece. And it's called, What else do Black poets talk about? I have more than oppression in my DNA. I have actually seen miracles, been healed by diseases that are sometimes incurable. I work a job and work a hustle. God gave me these talents to keep my mind and my body out of trouble. I have written words that only ears require, recited poems in hopes that inspire, painted pictures that even I admire. I have brown skin that I adore, wrinkles on my face that are easily ignored, rhythm in my soul, and the blues are something I try to ignore. I have more than oppression in my DNA. I have the blood of kings and queens that the history books won't say. My truth is not only in blood on the street, sagging pants and sweatshirt hoodies. It resides in the human cells of Henrietta Lack. The greatness of America came from the people of color's back. So what else do Black poets write about? Maybe hopes for tomorrow, more Black billionaires that lend and not borrow, maybe more love and less sorrow. That's that piece. So, in the times that I've done some poetry kind of workshops, I like starting people out with haiku, so thank you for introducing that before I got a chance to, and that haiku was awesome. For people that's kind of struggle with stanzas or whatever, it's just, kind of fun to start off with haikus, and most of you all know what haikus are, right? Wonderful. So I'm just gonna share some of my haikus with you. Some of them are, I've done before, and some of them are new. Slumber just to dream, this deja vu caught between my reality. Ice falls from the sky, tree branches bow to the wind, spring ceremony. Points to a sky, mommy, that's God's fingernail, smiles at crescent moon. Ruler in the field, yet no king of the jungle, the dandelion. She visits monthly, sure to wear red like Prada, a woman's Aunt Flo. Woke up this morning, my menu of the day is sunny side up, please. My alarm clock screams, eastern skies peek through windows. My future is bright. You can't understand while standing in your own shoes, so take your shoes off. Embrace the beauty, refuse to be colorblind. Love has no favorites. Time, not a teacher. Open books don't make you smart. Wisdom, not gray hair. Love makes my heart melt like ice cream in the hot sun. They both are sticky. If windows have pains and funny bones aren't funny, cry me a river. The sky's the limit. They told me I was a star. Ceilings can't hold us. This next piece I'm gonna do is really short. It's called I Often Wonder, and this was a recent one that I've just done. I often wonder if the quiet waits for me. Does it long for my attention like I long for peaceful situations? Does my back wait to straighten, the floor wait for my feet to lie flat, the table listen for the pulse through the palms of my present? Can my mind's voices surrender to silence? I often wondered if the quiet waits for me by the shores of ocean waters or sands of lake beaches, where the rippled waters leave cryptic messages. I often wonder if my pen awaits to impose ink on the pages from the quiet places of a poet's mind. That's that piece. This next poem, again, I wrote this poem on the heels of coming off a vacation and just thinking about going back to work and all the thoughts behind who I show up to be every day. It's called What Will I Bring to Tomorrow? What will I bring to tomorrow that I didn't bring today? A change of heart, a change of reason, a new daily order sequence. Like a potter on the wheel, will I shape my day like clay? What energy might outweigh any negative energy I might display? Will I greet you with a smile? Could a simple hello be worthwhile, or wait till my first cup of coffee and let the whole world revolve around me? I don't know. This world gives us so many self-centered choices. And what choices make sense in a world that cries out for justice? Do I plant good deeds today, trust a mustard seed of faith, harvest good lessons from yesterday, make memories for a new day? What will I bring to tomorrow? Can I forgive yesterday's sorrow? Parents that bury their children is a hard pill to swallow. My late father's words were just keep living. Only when I got older did the complexities of life sink in. Searching for a hero or for comic books and movies. What I bring to tomorrow affects my home, my community, my city. And that's that piece. Okay, a few more here. Here's one of the poems that I submitted and was selected for publication in a book of poems and prose. It's called Beauty. If you were blind, what would the mind have to say about beauty? Beauty has always been a variable, a battle of the surface and the inner soul. Beauty is an interpretation of images and characteristics socialized by what we've come to know. Beauty and what some come to agree, an old passage of, you can't see the forest for the trees. Beauty becomes the color of sound, and its sensitivity is toxic. Behavior and real truths you'll now come to deposit. Beauty has left our eyes with no clear vision, but a fictional bibliography, not to mention a history of hypocrisy. If you were blind, what would the mind have to say about beauty? Well, beauty pageants would be no longer, and not one book would be judged by its cover. And CoverGirl would be the hiccup in our makeup because I no longer choose to make up who I found myself to be. Unashamed with no restraints, your presence redefined by your character unmistakably. One day we'll grow up with no real need to play dress up to physical beauty. Will what's left behind, will what's left to behold be favorable to sincerity, dignity, of faithfulness to integrity? If you were blind, what would your mind have to say about beauty? That's that piece. Here's another real short one. It's about self-love. Embrace, indulge, consume desire. Bathe, stroke, massage, devour. Trust, believe, forgive, be married. Write a book no spine can carry. That's self-love. And lastly, I also want to share this afterwards. Rosemary brought some nice treats out there for us. So help yourself to that afterwards. But I would like to end with this piece. It's a love piece. This was written quite some years back for a gig that we were doing called Cornbread and Jazz. And at the time it was written to incorporate poetry, jazz, and dance. Since then, I've been asked to do this at weddings and for other poetry hosted events. The music is by a famous jazz musician called Rick Braun. And I call this piece, I Want That Kind of Love. So, bear with me one moment here. I want that kind of love. The cool splashing sounds of jazz kind of love. Interpreted through notes in a dance kind of love. Nudging me to take another chance kind of love. I want a love that never has to be told, but knows how to love. Love that's not blind, yet only has eyes for me kind of love. The kind of love that never loses its flavor kind of love. Like gum stuck to my plate, save it for later kind of love. I want to love like the rain that goes pitter-patter on the heart of my window pane. A love where tear-stained rainbows, a promise remain. I want a love that sees through my fears, kind of love. A love that nurtures my dreams, kind of love. I want a love that leaps over tall trees, kind of love. I want that kind of love. It's that 5 loaves and 2 fish feeding multitudes kind of love. Turned into catfish nuggets instead of 12-piece bucket of finger looking good kind of love. The kind of love the sun has for the earth. Faithful to bring light from the eastern skies, a new day rebirthed. I want to love like the rain that goes pitter-patter on the heart of my window pane. A love where tear-stained rainbows, a promise remain. I want a love that sees through my fears, kind of love. A love that nurtures my dreams, kind of love. I want a love that leaps over tall trees, kind of love. A love that gives me reasons to breathe, kind of love. I want a love I can trust when I dance, can't see, kind of love. I want that kind of love. I want to love like the rain that goes pitter-patter on the heart of my window pane. A love where tear-stained rainbows, a promise remain. Yeah. I want a love that sees through my fears, kind of love. A love that nurtures my dreams, kind of love. I want a love that leaps over tall trees, kind of love. A love that gives me reasons to breathe, kind of love. I want a love I can trust when I can't see, kind of love. I want that kind of love, yeah. So, thank you all for coming out. I really do sincerely appreciate the love. I really do. We've been doing this for a long time, and yeah, it's really humbling when people appreciate what you do. But I've had so many great supporting people, and you all have been supporting. You are always welcome here at the Poetry Den. Again, another round of applause for Spencer. For George, keeping it live over here. For my main man in the back, Daryl. And again, for you all for being here. We meet here every 4th Sunday of the month in December, although it may be a week prior to that, just because it falls in the holidays and we want to give people a chance to be with their family. But yes, we do this, and these people here at the Civil Rights Heritage Center are always so gracious to allow us to be here. So again, I hope you all have a great beginning and end, and Yeah, future forward. Thank you again. Again, there's snacks over here. Partake of the snacks. There's these lovely little rubber wristbands to remind you about the Poetry Den. And I hope to see you all next time. Thank you again.